Hello, hello. Okay. So it seems as though we just having some technical issues going on. Yeah, we're having some technical issues going on. Just give me a moment. I apologize. Hold on a moment. Can't believe that this happened right now. Pretty crazy, isn't it? Alrighty then. Okay. Uh Total apologies on that, folks. But that also means I gotta fix up on a couple of things. But anyway, this week, as I tried to be able to express, we're gonna be going to try to have new games going on, new retro games. So this week, we're gonna be focusing on our newest selection, which is going to be the. Can I delete one of my videos? Okay, there we go. So I can delete it real quick and fix this one up. But we're gonna be playing puzzle, well, not puzzle fighters, more like gem fighters, so to say. That game I've have played before, but never fully on stream. Super Pocket Fighters, I believe, would be the wise name to go about with it, and it's going to be pretty interesting to go through. Along with that, a bit of a game development, and also we're going to um check back to Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. You just gotta keep in mind that this month is pretty much hectic because you got Mother's Day, you got Ms. Zeno, who has been on this stream before. Her birthday is coming up pretty soon, and on top of that, my father, and on top of that, we got the Holy Grail of racing, which is Monaco, Indy 500, and NASCAR. Of course, none of y'all pretty much racing fan. I myself am a big racing fan, and also any other major event that's been going on. So it's a lot that it's happening. Uh, Total apologies on that, by the way, folks, if, for those who just have to refresh. But we will be getting into Final Fantasy Tactics Advance sometime later on this week as Brucey bonus, so to say. I just got to double check on my schedule. Plus, um, we're discuss later on today. So pretty crazy, so to say. But as crazy as it sounds, yesterday was Backlash. I didn't even get a chance to be able to watch it, though I have checked up on some reviews and also um checked in some of the highlights and clips. First off, I'm pretty shocked to see Jeff Cobb in WWE. Like, I followed him on a couple of his tweets on Twitter, saying how he pretty much uh ended his run in ROH, ended his run, joined his retirement, and I believe he was in a gaming release. I'm pretty sure. I have to double check on his tweets and such, but he was in a gaming release. He was enjoying his life in California working out, and then all of a sudden there's been a tweet out there saying Jeff Cobb, it's Jeff Cobb, he's safe. Jacob Fatu attacked LA Knight. I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Jeff Cobb is in WWE? Oh shit. I have to really retweet what WWE shot one of WWE's tweets stating that Jeff with the video of Jeff Cobb debuting in WWE. It's like, oh my god, I thought he was retired. actually gonna be money on that. Uh, really, I'm having a frustrating time with my freaking camera. What is going on with my system? Yeah, it seems that it's not OBS. It's actually my stuff that's causing a lot of issues. Never did that before. All right, let's see if this work. You better work. All right, there. We're really gonna go through all this stupid shit. I'm pretty sure of it. All right, no dropped frames. We're going pretty fine on CPU and all that. So what the fuck is going on? Speaking about WWE, here in the Bronx, recently got the news that Damian Priest will have a street named after him. Uh, by all means, the dude really did deserve it. All right. There's been several greats in the Bronx, which also include I believe his name. Who shuts out Timbaland? Hold on. I know it's a hip hop artist in the Bronx. Because I know definitely a Regis Philbin, Bronxite. Um Kimba Walker as well has been in has been put for the uh Bronx Hall of Fame. I believe it's of course Fat Joe and the Terror Quads, but I believe it's Grandmaster Caz. It's Grandmaster Caz or Grandmaster Flash. Those two. All right, they're both Bronxite as well, but I'm pretty sure they've also been on the Bronx Hall of Fame. All right, I'm definitely taking a look. Oh shit! This is also the Hall of Fame museum that is in the Bronx Community College, so it's also pretty awesome to be able to have something like that in the Bronx, which honestly I also forgot, and I used to attend Bronx Community College. Oh shoot! But Andrea Navito, Amadeus. Oh, this is 2024. Holy crap! 2025. Okay, so Devon Rodriguez, Kimba Walker, Damian Priest, Judy Torres, and Gary Axelbank. And it's actually pretty awesome to have a WWE superstar be a part of thing in the Bronx. So it's going to happen I, this Saturday. Of course, I'm going to be working on that day, but I'm actually going to be retweeting it and give my heartfelt thrill on that one. As far as I would say about Damian Priest, the dude has from NXT all the way up to where he is right now. Honestly, I was questioning about his gimmick at first because it felt like one of those party goers or something like that, but not like something around the private party or um the street profits, more like chilled and laid back and such. But by all means, he has pretty much done it all. Well, actually, he has risen to the top, and eventually he's gonna rise. Uh, with Damian Priest, congratulations. It's actually pretty awesome for someone in the Bronx to actually a wrestler to be a part of the Bronx Hall of Fame. And definitely when the once it's revealed, I'm definitely going to head over to that street. Definitely want to be able to check out uh the street named after Damian Priest. Okay. Just gonna give a happy Mother's Day shout out on my Instagram as well. Speaking of WWE or pro wrestling in general, earlier today, sad news has broke out. Sabu, the homicidal, suicidal, genocidal, death-defying wrestler of ECW, WCW, WWE, NWA, wherever he goes, sadly passed away earlier today. Uh, you know, it's pretty heartbreaking for someone who has done a lot for pro wrestling. And by a lot, we're talking about someone who literally put his body through hell for the entertainment of uh, every wrestling fan out there. Those who are the counterculture of what WWE and WCW put out at that time. And this is a dude who, if you were to watch some of the clips from Dark Side of the Ring that has been tweeted out on Twitter, that at about 19 years old, who got shot and nearly got killed, wanted to become a pro wrestler, paying his dues by pretty much learning from his uncle, understanding that it's not an easy road, never bitch about it, never complain, just do the work, and you're gonna be a pro wrestler in the future. And yeah, he did. He did. You know, I've seen his work with RVD and ECW, the two that is the homicidal high flying duo in ECW. His definitely want to take a look from Brian Zane and other wrestling uh videos that talked about Sabu, how he pretty much shredded his bicep in a barbed wire hardcore match, which is literally a wrestling ring, but instead of the ropes, it is pure barbed wire. All right, the ropes are not there; they're replaced with barbed wire, and these two, Sabu and Terry Funk, pretty much put themselves through hell. More with Sabu, and this dude just continued on, literally, uh, taping up his the bicep that was pretty much shredded, taping it up and continue on. And holy shit, if here's the deal, if pro wrestling today, you know, if someone were to have a serious injury like that, to the point where you're actually having like chunks of flesh peeling down, it would have immediately stopped. Okay, they would immediately stop, call for medics or anything like that. But back then was just so freaking different. It was so freaking wild. And Sabu continued on. Definitely my recollection watching him live. I believe it was with AR Fox And one more. I'm definitely going to be looking this one up to be able to discuss about that. Taking on Callahan and his crew. And that was Dragon Gate, New York. Uh, well, Dragon Gate Wrestling. That was in New York. And it was so freaking wild. Like I was so thrilled, like excited for to bear witness of Sabu for the first and well, at this point, last time performing in a hardcore match and doing what he does best. You know, and he pretty much innovated. He pretty much put an innovation in uh just defying high flying, defying hardcore. It was just pretty wild for what he has done in pro wrestling. And yeah, I got it. Ark Cannon, Picky Sanchez, and Sammy Callahan against AR Fox, John Davis, and Sabu, which was the main event at BB King's. And like I said, it was wild with how Sabu performed in his style of pro wrestling. All right. So no matter where he has gone, he has been a very phenomenal pro wrestler in the ring. Sometimes he fucks up. You know what? You know, it's like 50-50 with Sabu. Sometimes you're going to be able to have it as picture perfect. Other times he's just going to fuck up. But it doesn't even matter because he's always going to put himself through hellacious bumps, through hellacious objects, tables, burning tables, barbed wires, glass, whatever. All right. You know, there's one thing that I can definitely say to Sabu, you know, dude, you're fucking you're fucking crazy, but in a definite good way. You know what? Thanks a lot for all that you have done, dude. So rest in peace, Sabu. You fucking nutty wrestler, you. Oh man. Okay. So with all that said and done, you know, it's been 30 years. By the way, Lando the Wizardo, thank you so much for a follow. Welcome to the Slime Factory. Alrighty then. So, you guys do know that E3 has been around for over 30 years. Well, actually, okay. So hold on. Yeah, I'm always gonna have technical difficulties. Shit, I gotta have to upgrade my shit. But anyway, it would have been 30 years since E3 has been going on. And in my opinion, it's one of those events that we definitely uh looked forward back then. Back then, it was one of those key events that has been happening that we're gonna look forward for any news on gaming, any events, any games and trailers that was gonna be released. Like, if you want to know what is happening with uh, Nintendo with. Okay. There we go. With Nintendo, with Sony, with Sega. This was definitely it. And E3 actually started up because of another company that that focused on electronics and such, and that was the Consumer Electronic show, the CES. You can be able to see only at that location. It's been nothing but goddamn not Sega, but video gaming news, video gaming advertisements.
Thank you, Pat. It's great to be back in Los Angeles. I'd
You
like
know,
to take a moment right at this
it's
stage
actually
to
this is actually a
mention
press
one of the
conference,
most important
so
pieces of news
we're gonna take a look into it a little later. But this is actually the first E3 and how they uh, perform, how they release any new games that's actually coming out and such. This was their opportunity because CES really undermined gaming. Consumer Electronics Show focused a lot on other objects like televisions, like audio, refrigerators, and such. And they didn't really give much attention to video games and such. Not unless you're Nintendo. They didn't give Nintendo much attention, but when Nintendo proved with the Nintendo Entertainment System that it's really not a fad, but much like a huge money making business, CES actually put a lot more attention with Nintendo than other gaming companies. So if you were not Nintendo, Sega stated that Sega was one of the companies that even got an opportunity to have their display at CES, but it was either A, put in the back burner, or B, was left outside under a tent. And you would not be able to even know about Sega attending CES, not unless you either bump into them or heard from someone. And it's not only just Sega, but other gaming publishers as well. So I believe a couple of years ago, not a couple of years, but I would say around a year or two after CES 93 or 91 or 92, a couple of guys came together and it's like, hey, why we don't create a convention, so to say, a show, but only focus on video games. And so many of them opted in. They created they created a company. I'm gonna hit this up real quick as to why E3 has failed. And there it is. They created a EES, which is essentially the animal registration. Oh shit, we got a lot of shit going on. We got the endangered species. Video games are endangered species. They're electronic securities. Oh my god, no. But if anything, I believe they're called the electronic software. All right, or entertainment software. And what they've done is they created, pretty much with also the help of GamePro, a gaming magazine, a convention that is nothing but video games, a trade show that is nothing but video games. And so E3 really came out. Yeah, there we go. We got Chrono Cross right here. Pretty much a demo of Chrono Cross. And it's all focused for media and retailers and such to finally check up on what's coming out either in uh, 1995 or quite possibly later on in the future and such. You know what? CES actually attempted to try to pull away several publishing. You know, have kept a couple of promises with several of the publishing, having them give them floor space. But a majority of developers saw like SquareSoft, which is now Square Enix, like Capcom, like Sega and such, actually opted for E3, and it's actually for the better, in my opinion. It was actually for the better. The only company that really stuck around with CES were Microsoft, which makes sense. They were also a computer company, even though they have created games. I believe the Xbox original debuted at a CES convention, not at E3. And of course, Nintendo. Nintendo has been another company that really opted to uh, stick around with CES. But since 1995 and so on, it's been all E3. It's been all E3, and it really showed the test of times how far E3 has gone, because their main focus has usually been video games, and pretty much it also helped popularize other other events as well. PAX has been one of them, which has happened this weekend. All right, today was the last day for PAX East. There's also PAX West. BlizzCon, if I'm correct, has been another popular gaming event for over, I believe, for over 20 years, if I'm correct. BlizzCon has been going on. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Gamescom has been another popular one. So basically, E3 was the granddaddy of them all. You know. We even got some failed games that we've never even seen before. Like, I don't even recall this game at all. I mean, we did see Chrono Cross. There's been um, there's been the Final Fantasy 3 Final Fantasy 3 poster. Is that Castlevania Dracula X? Yeah, I think that's Castlevania. This would have been released on the PlayStation 1.
What do you think it looks better on?
This is just so freaking fantastic. I believe this was the debut of Richter. I could be wrong. Castlevania Dracula X. Damn. Oh, we got some anime games. Yeah, definitely Sega Saturn or PS1. It's at Illusions Lunar. Interesting. So that was Lunar. Lunar Eternal Blue. Only on Sega CD. Wow. Totally forgot about the Sega CD. Like definitely this feels like Sega Saturn. This looks like way better on the Sega Saturn than the Sega CD. Do not know. Oh shit. Earthworm Jim trailer. Okay. So 50 minutes of animation over. Hold on. We gotta check this out. Okay, unlock Lunar Secrets or Lucia's secret and stop Sofar from stealing Altian's or Anthean's power to destroy the magical world of Lunar in the heart. Stop and sequel to the #1 Sega CD RPG game of all time. Over 50 minutes of animations, over an hour of dialogue, 60 plus hours of gameplay. I could definitely take a look at over 50 minutes of animation and such. This definitely got to be a Sega Rally. It has to be Sega Rally. All right. Oh fuck yeah, Killer Instinct. Shit yes. This was the game back then. Thankfully, this isn't the Super Nintendo version. This looks like the arcade version. But Killer Instinct was also announced for the Super Nintendo, if I recall, which was huge. It says, wait, is this Donkey Kong? You gotta be joking. No. Okay, so this was definitely Killer Instinct announced for the Super Nintendo. All right, you know what? That's fine. If I recall, actually last year was Killer Instinct in the arcade. This one was announced for the Super Nintendo, which was a pretty huge deal. Because I've seen the Killer Instinct in the arcade, and I was actually pretty wild with the graphics and also the gameplay. And my bros actually got Killer Instinct, and it was actually pretty fun to play this game. You know, usually I would go with no, not TJ Combo. I would usually go with Jago. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on top of that, but I believe I'm gonna have to agree that me and my bros actually stuck with Cinder because of how easy it is to play as Cinder, and how fun it is to pretty much spam his combos. Like Cinder was definitely our bro in Killer Instinct. But it was actually pretty awesome news for us to have Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo. Uh, is that Pamela Anderson? I think it is Pamela Anderson. Can't be. No way Pamela Anderson would be something like that. Tattoo artistry, so it's not all video gaming, I guess. But the announcement of Donkey Kong Country 2, fuck yeah. That I know I did bother my parents about wanting that game. And also the announcement of the Warrior, not the WarioWare, but the Virtual Boy to go along with that. I believe there was Mothers 2, aka Earthbound. There we go, Earthbound for the Super Nintendo. Definitely the one game that would feel like Game of the Year material right there. All right, there was something added in with the Super Nintendo. Wow, never seen that gadgetry before. Modem and network service. So at some point, it looks like Nintendo attempted, or somebody attempted to use the Super Nintendo to connect to online. I recall a friend of mine's, Andy Lee Ray, told me about how Sega actually attempted to do some online connections. Even though I knew they did something like that with the Dreamcast, he didn't mention in that Sega actually attempted to do that with uh the Sega Genesis, which at one point I pretty much. Ah! Holy shit! Balls! We got balls, and it's the director's cut! Balls! The director's cut! Shit! For the Sega Saturn. No, it can't be for the Sega Saturn. It gotta be for the Sega Genesis. Oh my god. Head-on soccer for Super Nintendo. Nobody wants to play this game. Nobody wants to play head-on soccer. It does look good. I'm not gonna deny on that one. That game, it looks pretty fast-paced for a soccer game. Slam and Jam 95. Definitely reminds me of an arcade game when I played at the bowling alley next to Yankee Stadium. They would have a 2-screen monitor in the diagonal sense, and you would be able to have full control on one monitor screen, full control on the other monitor screen, and such. I think it is Slam and Jam. I think so. Alright. Let's check up on some trailers that actually really make the mark on E3. Ridge Racer! I have to say that. No. Most notably, I believe the third Halo game really was one of the biggest announcements on E3. Definitely played the first Halo. I enjoyed it. I played that to death with a couple of my friends. And the second one was also another big hit. I recall actually pre-ordering. It was the first game I've ever pre-ordered was Halo 2. And that included a Chrome case and an extra CD that would be a documentary of how Halo 2 was made. And when the third one was announced, by God, and also for the Xbox 360, that was huge.
I guess. Do you think we'll ever meet them? I hope so. Don't you?
Sorry about that.
Do you think we'll ever meet
All right. What's pretty crazy is that many of us thought that Master Chief would finally take off his helmet. We'd finally get a chance to be able to see what Master Chief looked like under the helmet.
Not yet.
And I don't think we ever did. Yeah, definitely that was a game changer right there. Now we got protective bubbles, we got a new vehicle.
Product not yet rated.
And many of the people who were fans of Halo shouted in the streets. You got several people shouting out, "Finish the fight! Finish the fight!" and such.
You ever wonder what's up?
Let's see. We got BioShock, which also happens to be an amazing trailer. An amazing game, actually.
A man has a choice. I chose the impossible.
I built a city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the great will not be constrained by the small, where the scientist would not be bound by...
They outdid themselves with the
I
graphics
chose to build.
at that time. Because you get that sense of cinema and realism
But
with these graphics.
my city was betrayed by the weak. So I ask you, my friend, if your life were the prize, would you kill the innocent? Would you sacrifice your humanity?
It's amazing
We all
on the
make
lighting.
choices, but in the end,
It's so fucking fantastic
our
with the lighting.
choices make us.
Yeah, it's me. It's like, what the hell is going on? What is going on? Bam, right there, Big Daddy. I think at that time it was a splicer. Jesus! That's got to be the first Bioshock. Yeah, another Big Daddy. Really good. That was really good. Gamescom, yeah. Definitely, if there's one trailer that, in my opinion, really brought up the hype due to E3, I'm never gonna be able to put that up. And it's definitely the one game that
You're up, Nico.
pretty much fans behind
You know I got you covered, asshole.
for years.
Try not to get us killed on the way there.
I'm gonna have to admit, yeah, definitely this was something that I would be hyped about. Hey Manny, how's it going? We just had technical difficulties, okay Manny, I apologize with all the going on and on. But we're going through a series of trailers from E3 since it's would have been 30 years. Would have been the 30-year anniversary of E3.
Hey, do you do parties?
So we did check up on Halo. We checked up on what was it? BioShock. That was actually pretty fun. But it looked phenomenal. It still looked phenomenal to this day. Jesus Christ, the game still looks phenomenal today. It was great work on the trailers, too. not sure if this is also the debut of Dante as trailer as well.
Perfect timing.
No, it was only. Oh yeah, definitely. The moment you bring in Dante, it was the hype. It's real. All right. I got one that really got the crowd gone crazy. This 10 years ago. Holy shit, 10 years ago. This is the 2015 announcement trailer. All right. I believe this was the one that made social media explode.
Long ago, we looked upon a foreboding sky. The memory of the star that threatened all burns eternal in our hearts.
It is true. E3 used to be an exciting event, but due to the changes in the hierarchy of the
In its
ESA,
wake
due
came an
to
age of silence.
majority of the companies now doing online presentations,
Yet with each
like Nintendo
fond
Direct,
remembrance,
this
we knew
PlayStation State of Play.
Those encountered.
We also have
were not
other conventions that's been going, that has been doing major announcements
that someday we would
and
see
such.
them
E3 couldn't
again.
really keep up,
Perhaps it was no more
and the
than
pandemic
wishful
actually
thinking.
did hurt E3 as well.
But after the long calm, there are now the beginnings of a stir.
You know, would it be
The
possible for
reunion at
E3 to
hand
make a
may
return?
bring joy. It may bring fear.
It would be possible, but
let
they
us
would be
embrace
it would
whatever
be
it brings.
solely possible most focused on
For
online.
they are coming back. At last, the promise has been made.
And the fan base went crazy after this. This right here is what fans really
The memory
wanted
of the star that
for such a
threatened
long time,
all
because Final Fantasy
burns
VII,
eternal in our heart.
much like how Final Fantasy IX really stuck with me for a very long time, because it wasn't really the first Final Fantasy game that I got noticed. I'm gonna admit that Final Fantasy VII was the first Final Fantasy game that I got noticed, but Final Fantasy IX, when I played it, was actually pretty thrilling, because it actually made me feel like what the title really means, Final Fantasy, which is pretty much fantasy mythical world. But for something like this, pretty much a majority of the Final Fantasy fan base came from Final Fantasy
In its
VII,
wake came an age
and how
of
much
silence.
this game really means to them. To
Yet with each
have
fond
an announcement
remembrance, we knew
of Final Fantasy
those
VII being
encountered
remade
were not
for
forgotten.
the PlayStation 4 and eventually the PS5,
That someday
really
we would see them
the
again.
crowd went crazy
Perhaps
for it.
it was no more than wishful
Alright.
thinking.
You know, and
But
the,
after
and the
the
funny thing
long
about this
calm,
trailer,
there are now the beginnings
you would
of
not,
a stir.
you may not
The
know
reunion
it's a
at
Final
hand may
Fantasy
bring joy,
game
may bring fear, but let us embrace whatever it brings.
until you notice Barrett's
For
gun,
they
but
are
more
coming
importantly,
back.
Cloud Sword.
At last,
That's when the
the
crowd
promise.
went crazy. The moment they saw Cloud right there in front of them, forget it.
Has been
I
made.
think this is the most, one of the most viewed trailers so far. How many people have seen this so far? 9 years ago, 16 million people, 16 million views. 16 million views. And if I'm correct, I think most recently, GTA 6 has gotten at about 102 million views. Well, yeah, the second trailer, which only happened 5 days ago, 102 million views compared to 250 million views. But if we were to inflate that 16 million views, it would be around that 100 million views at this time. So really, at that moment, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 7 remake trailer has got to be quite possibly the greatest reveal that E3 has ever did. All right. If not the greatest, then one of the greatest. So to say. I believe we could check up with E3 since we do have someone here for Nintendo and such. Yeah. The press conference for 2004 E3. Which definitely announced Metroid Prime. Oh fuck yeah, definitely. It was Resident Evil 4. Like that was actually a great choice. 13, if I'm correct, that's the name of the game. That's also another great choice. Game Boy Advance. Not bad. Not bad with F-Zero. Paper Mario, another fantastic choice. Dude, I don't know what to say about Star Fox.
I'm about kicking ass.
Hey,
I'm
it's
about taking
Reggie.
names, and we're about making games.
This was definitely Metroid Prime. I think it was Prime 2. Isn't it crazy that we're looking at this 21 years in the future, and we are only just a few months away with Metroid Prime 4 being released for the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Also the debut of Dark Samus, which is pretty cool. Wow, so this was also a time in which Metroid Prime actually had multiplayer. Metroid Prime 2 Echoes. So the second Metroid Prime game.
We like games with big stars and big explosions.
Alright, so Star Fox. I mean, yeah,
So
definitely. Resident Evil 4 trailer. Which, by the way, freaking phenomenal when I first played it as a demo at Toys R Us, New York. Like, I never even thought that Nintendo would have this type of capability. Not only with their age rating, but with their game as with their hardware as well.
it's game time.
Amazing.
It is game time. It's a new day for me, and a new day for Nintendo. So let's get a couple things straight right off the bat. Part of my job is finding a way for you, the game experts,
Reggie really
to
had the
have fun.
swagger back then.
At the same
He
time,
still has swagger
I
today if you put
understand
him on
if
the
you're
stage.
among the terminally hip, Nintendo isn't your only choice for gaming. But maybe what you've already seen helps you understand that we're serious about expanding what we do. We also understand that we're not going to run our company.
Apologies
just
if
for
you're
hardcore
hearing some
gamers.
noise outside.
There are gamers out there who aren't as knowledgeable as you, gamers who aren't your age, gamers who don't have your tastes, gamers who live for Mario and Yoshi and Pokemon. It's my job, it's Nintendo's job, to make sure we satisfy all the gamers and to do it better than our competition.
Damn.
We know that this is
Just
your third
damn
stop
the way he
on the
expressed.
press tour
that.
over the last 12. Let me
It's his job in Nintendo do it better than the competition. Holy shit.
Nintendo is acting. Let me ask you a question.
All right.
What
So it's a
company
lot about
right
numbers
now is
and
driving
such,
They sold through nearly
so to
2.5
say.
appeal
So
your fans.
this is the number
In fact,
crunching
this part,
scene,
the
so
first
to say.
title will
So
include multiple
we're gonna
episodes
skip
of
all that.
Pokemon and others
All
in
right.
one pack. Well, will it sell?
But if I'm correct,
Initial orders are already.
this was around the time they introduced the newest
Well, the wait is over. This is Nintendo DS.
handheld console. Nintendo DS.
From the time we announced its code name, you've known these initials to represent the most obvious feature, dual screens. But that's not what the initials stand for to us. DS has a much larger and more relevant meaning. DS, Developer's System. In creating DS, we've given the world's most talented game makers new tools to work with, new ways to express their imaginations, and of course, in the end, new enjoyment for all of us. The result is this. DS not only changes Nintendo, it changes our industry. You'll
I have to
find
admit,
Nintendo
the DS
represents
was
a brand
something
new
that
way for
I
players
wasn't
to
too
relate to their
fond of.
games and to each other.
But also
Listen to
very
the experts.
intrigued because it had a touchscreen on the bottom to be able to play certain games properly with the touchscreen. I believe Cooking Mama
Nintendo
and
came down and presented
math
the
game
DS
to go along
platform
with
to us
that.
just about a month or so ago. I think
But
everyone
there are
was in
also
shock.
several other games that I had a
When
hard
I
time
told the
playing. I know
functions
one of the
DS
games that I had a
to
hard time
creators,
playing
they were
was
very excited and
the
eager to work on new
um,
development. They really liked DS.
Mario
The
64
introduction
game.
of Nitro or the
Because
DS
you really needed the dual screen.
is going to allow us to take handheld gaming to the next level.
The history of the platform in the last 10 years is that improvements were made on only certain functions. It has been a long time since the platform itself changed radically.
With the DS, I think they set the next standard across the board for all kinds of things.
It's going to generate such a
So many people
new
really
way
give
of
praise to
playing
Nintendo,
games
which
that
includes
is going
Square
to generate
Enix,
automatically
Atari,
more emotion,
I believe
more
Namco
excitement, and more fun
also
for the
gave
player,
praise
which is basically what we are here for.
to
Things will
DS.
totally change. We will think anew what we want to express and what kind of things we want players to enjoy using this platform. We're expecting to change the contents of the game, how to play the game, and how to make the game.
The DS will continue Nintendo's
Konami
great
as well.
success. It's into the game, very innovative.
Understands what's going on here. I like to think of it like buying a car. Admit it, your left brain looks at a vehicle in terms of the numbers. What's the horsepower, the towing capacity, the 0 to 60? That's our competitor's approach. But your right brain is different.
For those who
There's
came
only
from
one question out there.
Ad Break
Sitting
on Twitch,
behind the
welcome back.
wheel, where will this baby take me? In other words, do you want to go just a little bit faster down the same streets you've always driven, or down a new road to places you've never seen before? That's the difference with Nintendo DS. Let me explain how this new journey is going to happen. Up to now, most of what the world knows about DS are those two screens. Today, it's my privilege to tell you the rest of the story. But let's start with the two screens. Each is programmable in 2D or 3D. The choice is up to the game designer.
Okay, that's
This
pretty
opens
bullshit,
a
to be
wealth of
honest.
options for the-
Because eventually
for the
they would
developers,
release the
and they're
Nintendo
totally
3DS,
excited about it.
which was a 3D,
3D quality
a
is simply
capability
beautiful.
to play games in 3D.
Most of you remember how you felt the first time you saw
the
Super
top
Mario 64
the top screen
on
would have
Nintendo
that
64.
3D graphical
It
feeling,
was a
so to say.
breakthrough that took the
But you can
industry
switch
by
it
storm.
over to 2D.
But this is Nintendo DS action,
Right.
playing on our new portable system. Just as you'll see it
They
on
didn't
the show
promise
floor
anything
tomorrow.
3D.
Isn't it exciting?
And the 3D gimmick is just not really necessary.
Well, then Mario sees himself in Nintendo DS and he feels like flying. Now, how exactly do these screens get used? Well, again, it's developer's choice. But for starters, one character can stand 2 panels high, or take 2 different perspectives of the same battle, or monitor constantly available maps and menus. Here's a brand new Metroid game playing on Nintendo DS.
Okay, I'm gonna admit that's actually pretty awesome. Although my main focus would be that the
The
bottom
same way
part of the
you'll
screen
be
would be at
playing
the
it
top,
tomorrow.
and the map would be at the bottom. But that's actually, I'll admit, that's actually
Targeting
pretty.
and
I will
shooting
be hyped
now
for it as
moves
well.
beyond buttons. Just tap the screen where you want to fire.
Wait, hold
Metroid's
on.
tap the screen and shooting. Targeting and shooting now moves beyond buttons. Just tap the screen where you want to fire.
Tap the screen where you want to fire.
Metroid's missions have always
Why do I
been
have a feeling that
nerve-wracking,
this
but
is like
now
a
they're
keyboard and
nonstop.
mouse?
Because all of your map positioning and weapons changes are done on the fly. It's just awesome. But 2 screens are just the first of 2s that define DS. Let's move on to the next pair. 2 media bays. One accommodates DS software, easily holding games with 1 gigabit of
The
data
fact that it's
and
also
well beyond.
backwards compatibility,
The other
that
plays
is
all of your favorite
Nintendo at its
GBA
brightest.
games.
Believe me, whenever the crowd would love to
That's
hear
right.
that their
Backward
console is
compatibility
backwards
means
compatible. And I don't think. No, wait. I don't know if the Game Boy Advance was backwards compatible. I don't think so. Because I know the Game Boy Color could play Game Boy games. It just give it a little bit of color to it. You could say that the Game Boy Color is backwards compatible in quotations, but I don't think the Game Boy Advance was backwards compatible. So that's actually a
of
win.
over 500 titles to most of players can only married to Vor together if your up extends up to 100 feet. Think about different
Wireless
seats in an
compatibility
office,
was also
a lecture
another
hall, an
huge
airplane.
ordeal.
Who says they can't all become connected playgrounds? And with Nintendo DS, local wireless takes on a whole new definition. All enjoyed our program.
And I believe this was one of the biggest announcement trailers for the Nintendo GameCube. Which, by the way, it looks so freaking fantastic. Even back then, how Link, no longer in tune, so to say, realistic Link, just so phenomenal. Holy crap, I would go crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Shigeru Miyamoto.
Hi, Shigeru Miyamoto.
Sorry, I'm not Link, but I do know him. Even after 18 years, the Legend of Zelda never stops changing. And this game is no different.
All right.
We are now taking you to a world where Link has grown up.
So we could be able to check up on some of the best moments on E3. They say embarrassing moments, but really, it's all about the celebratory of
That's
E3.
right. Every fighter in Super Smash Bros. History is joining the battle.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 20 E3 moments of all time.
What about Star Fox?
What about Star Fox?
Pleased to announce Xbox One backward compatibility.
We can't wait to
end a moment we missed. Please be sure to presentations
Oh.
of the past. If there's a great gaming expo moment we missed, please be sure to let us know in the comments. Number 20, Konami's press conference.
Yeah.
E3 2010.
I take that back. This was not a good E3 press conference. I think this is like the worst E3 press conference. One of the worst E3 press conference of all time. But yeah.
Konami's 2010 conference is a parade of hopelessly bizarre and cringeworthy presenters. Imagine if Tommy Wiseau directed an E3 conference.
In fact, the next match will take place at 4:45 p.m. today in the South Hall at our slang booth. Come by and see the battle for yourselves.
There are musical performances.
When the E3 actually had a pro wrestling
slapping
match.
each other, creepy staring, and technical issues with trailers. Talk Fuji is a definite highlight, as his not quite understandable speech is chock full of meme fodder lines. No wonder Konami has been going downhill in the years since. There's just no way they could top this.
You'll be sucked.
Number 19, Bethesda's press conference. E3
2015.
You all came. This is amazing. I need to let me take this in. Holy crap.
Amazingly, for a publisher that has created so many massive games,
Oh, I'm gonna admit
Bethesda's
that
first ever E3 conference. They slotted
the
in
announcement
big guns seamlessly
for
in a
Doom,
simple yet
I was
effective
hyped.
presentation for a number of huge titles.
Dishonored 2 looked very good, but this was, yeah, Doom, I was on it like crazy.
Post-apocalyptic Boston looked downright beautiful, and the crowd barely had any breath left for the game's surprisingly early release date. You couldn't ask for a better start than this. Number 18, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess reveal. E3
Twilight Princess. So that was what we saw.
After the release appreciation.
And the fact that it ended with Shigeru Miyamoto coming out with the iconic sword and shield.
The standing ovation the short trailer received showed this was not just another soulless E3 presentation, but a reveal that was genuinely important in people's lives.
Which I have seen several of my fellow streamers on Twitch play Twilight Princess and having a great opinion about the game itself. Super Mario 64 demo, I've never even noticed about E3 in 1996. That's actually my fault on that.
Back in 1996, gaming was almost an entirely 2D experience, and the few 3D games out there had fixed perspectives or tank controls. Enter Super Mario 64 at that year's
Good thing about, I'm going to say about Nintendo, kudos for not trying to push for a new gaming system. In 90s, 95, even though you want to be able to say they pushed for the Virtual Boy. Okay, yeah, fair enough. But this was what they wanted. They wanted to be able to present a new console, but push it for 1 year later, it might have been really helped out the N64. Not in terms of sales and not just in terms of sales and all that, but in terms of presentation on E3, because you want to be able to release it at the biggest show of them all.
It's what we're doing right now.
This is the beginning of the Resolution. Nintendo of America's former president Reggie Fils-Aimé got his first introduction to the public eye at E3 2004. And what an introduction. Right from his opening words, fans knew he was going to be the new face of Nintendo.
My name is Reggie. I'm about kicking ass. I'm about taking names. And we're about making games.
2003's conference was kind of weak, but Reggie reassured
Reggie
show Nintendo wasn't messing around this year. He was unapologetic about Nintendo appealing to all gamers, not just the hardcore crowd. And his direct yet approachable presence had everyone hanging on his every word. No wonder he was the face of the company for so long.
All about the game. All about the gamer. Or in other words, all about you.
Number 15, Sean Layden's speech, E3 2014.
New hardware. New network services.
Is this for the PS4?
PlayStation continues to accelerate.
A lot of gaming presentations catch flack for being dry and shilling only the biggest titles or the latest hardware.
Yeah, PlayStation TV, which I never even noticed. I don't remember PlayStation TV. That's a flop.
2014 is solid throughout. The real highlight was his mention of Vib Ribbon, an obscure yet creative rhythm game from PlayStation that had never been released in America.
A little earlier, I was delighted to hear Andy give a shout out to one of the most iconic games of our time, Vib Ribbon.
Although some fans were naturally salty that no re-release appeared forthcoming, it eventually did come, others found Layden drawing attention to the game's quality over its monetary success refreshing.
After all, guys, it's all about the games, isn't it?
Number 14.
Nintendo teams up with Robot Chicken. Yes, I remember this one.
Fils-Aimé, if you say so.
It may have been an unlikely partnership, but one of the
man.
video game companies and the team at Adult
You know, whenever you have Reggie, Shigeru Miyamoto, and I forgot the third dude, I'm sorry. We have those three all together. You have magic.
Looks like I'm the new face of Nintendo. Hey, they promised me you wouldn't be here.
Bowser apologizes for repeatedly kidnapping Peach, Mario gets angry for not having his usually yearly release, and annoying fanboys shout at Reggie Fils-Aimé from the crowd. It masterfully pokes fun at Nintendo's own shortcomings and perfectly parodies the ravenous culture surrounding every E3 event.
What about Star Fox?
Number 13, Sweet Tooth rolls on stage.
Oh man, the announcement for Twisted Metal. definitely am
Twisted
going to take a
Metal is
look at that
franchise that
trailer
no
as well.
It's the original car combat game. So, when Sony unveiled a new trailer at E3
But
2010,
we definitely
fans were
need
already
a
gearing
new
up to see
Twisted
a
Metal
live-action
game,
version of the
especially
demented car
since Twisted
mascot
Metal
on screen. Then,
television
after the
series.
trailer, Sweet Tooth
It's actually
flies out on
pretty a
stage
good
with his
show to
ice cream
watch.
truck in front of the audience.
I highly advise to be able to check out the first season before the second season drop on July 31st.
It was like seeing a video game character come
Yeah,
to life before our
not
eyes.
Samoa Joe,
While the final build
sadly.
ended up delayed and
Not at that
failed to
time.
deliver on the promise displayed at the conference, this moment remains, well, metal.
But we definitely get to take a look at that trailer.
Number 12.
Because I know me myself when I heard the announcement for Twisted Metal on the PS3, which sadly I never owned one, I was like
Even though
so
the device had
fucking
been announced
hyped
a
up
few
with
months
that.
prior to E3, there was still plenty of anticipation to see its plethora of features firsthand. The social applications were intriguing, but it was always going to be the glass's free 3D capability that would get consumers clamoring.
You can maximize it, or you can remove the 3D altogether, or you can choose any degree in between.
It could have been overshadowed by the announcements of a GoldenEye remake and Skyward Sword for the Wii, but the graphical power
Oh
of
man,
handheld when
3DS.
Icarus
It
Uprising
was actually a
was
great
exceptional enough to
device to
stand out
have.
and
I really did have a good time with the 3DS, even if I did not have so many games for that device.
Number 11, Crash Bandicoot Remastered, E3 2016.
Oh, I got hyped for that one as well.
In 2016,
The moment Crash Bandicoot was in the background, oh man, the nostalgia train really hit.
Then, Sean Layden walked out on stage with Crash as his shadow, and the classic music played him on. For Crash fans, it was like getting handed a gallon of water in the desert. Layden promising a remaster of the first 3 games got everyone excited. Of course, his announcement just after that Crash would appear in Skylanders got a rare negative applause, but the prospect of the remaster trilogy kept fans energized until the remaster's release the next year.
The original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation 4.
Number 10,
Everyone is here.
2018.
The reveal for Smash Ultimate. Oh my god.
When it comes to E3 hype, few other franchises are as consistently rewarding as Super Smash Bros. There are so many legendary moments. Snake being announced for Brawl, the original Melee character reveals, Mega Man in Smash 4, Banjo-Kazooie finally getting into Ultimate, but they all pale in comparison to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate's big reveal trailer.
So the fact that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate actually done saying that everyone is here, and then later on they will be able to put in extra characters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think that was the first time they included the Inkling in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
The internet basically exploded.
And then afterwards, they started to continue on putting in more characters in there. Priya Mitra, Ken, Incineroar has been another. But I think there were a couple of 3 characters, in my opinion, that really got that huge announcement.
Backwards compatibility.
Alright.
E3 2015.
And I definitely got to say, talk about that a little later on.
Will be playable natively on your Xbox One.
Xbox has had a rocky road over the last decade or so, but this announcement at 2015's E3 went a long way towards regaining customers' goodwill. One of the most disheartening things about getting a new console is the fact that you can't play your old games on it. In this presentation, Phil Spencer announced that Xbox One would feature backwards compatibility to allow gamers to play Xbox 360 games on the Xbox One.
I'm pleased to announce Xbox One backward compatibility.
Play Xbox games on Xbox One, which was huge.
Not only was the announcement well received,
They had a crappy
there was
start.
also a subtle jab at PlayStation.
They have, in my opinion, one of the worst presentation
Sometimes
in recent E3, but I think 2015 really helped them out a lot.
An Xbox One backward compatibility allows us to do just that.
Number 8, showing off the Wii, E3 2006. Nintendo's first console with motion controls was greeted rather dubiously in the lead-up to its reveal. The name in particular is easy to make fun of. The jokes just write themselves.
The
However,
Wii,
Nintendo went a long way towards
which
its closed out
was
with their
a
2006
really weird name to call their Nintendo console, but it worked.
We got to see Miyamoto conduct a virtual orchestra in a tux. We saw this solid lineup of games for the new system, including third-party titles and a gorgeous new Mario game set in space. There was even a live demo of
Super
Wii
Mario
Sports.
Galaxy. I think
Through it all, Reggie
to
had
me
the
the Wii Sport really helped out
and
with the Nintendo
accessibility
Wii.
to gaming, and it did. Mostly.
Let me just say that on behalf of the names you love from Nintendo and our partners, we can't wait to show you what's on the way.
Number 7, Gabe's surprise entrance, E3 2010.
Hi, my name is Gabe Newell, and I work at Valve.
When the Lord
Gabe!
and Savior Gaben blesses you with
When's
his presence,
Half-Life
the
3?
the crowd knew they were in for something special when Portal's very own GLaDOS initiated the emergency surprise system to usher the director of Valve onto stage.
Deploying surprise in 3, 2, 1.
The announcement of Portal 2 on the PS3.
It was made even more
And if I'm correct, it will eventually be on the Xbox
The same
360
company
as
that
well.
designed the console Newell had previously called a total disaster. By saying that Portal 2 would be best played on PS3, he had pulled a complete 180 that was perhaps due to threats from VP of Sharpening Things, Kevin Butler.
So I'd really like to thank everyone at Sony for their gracious hospitality and for not repeatedly punching me in the face.
Number 6.
The Kevin Butler.
E3
Yes.
Peter, you look like you could
Quite possibly one of the greatest mascots in PlayStation history.
You were going to show up. Peter, you can't believe everything you read on the internet.
This fictional executive had become a hugely popular marketing figure before.
Like Kevin Butler is definitely one of the guys who actually made me want to own a PS3. His commercials is just so fucking fantastic.
No one is more qualified to talk directly to hardcore gamers. He was only on
Oh man, sarcasm on the point.
But seriously, I know everyone's got their eye on this motion control battle like it was Olivia Munn and a Lara Croft outfit.
Jesus Christ.
The PlayStation Move, but did it in such a way that you barely
Like, why not have an E3 with Kevin Butler? PlayStation. Why don't you have E3 just have Kevin Butler?
Number 5.
Have him introduce the guests, have him introduce the games and all that. He kicks ass. He really does an amazing job representing Sony PlayStation.
Come on, it was stacked with great moments. Best of all,
You can have a fictional
new handheld for the first time was astonishing.
This
representative of PlayStation do the E3 presentation. And that's all. That is all.
Dual screens were cool enough, but features like 3D graphics, touchscreen controls, and Wi-Fi capability were completely unheard of on a portable console at the time.
I definitely would agree with the Wi-Fi capability, but the wireless capability was something that really did help out with the Nintendo DS, because I recall playing Mario Kart DS on the Nintendo DS on someone else's without needing the game, by the way. It's so freaking crazy.
Do what we call a body check on somebody. So today, I think we'll do it with Reggie.
Are you prepared? We weren't when this moment dropped. During the 2007 Nintendo E3 conference, Shigeru Miyamoto and his translator debuted the Wii Fit balance board. To demonstrate it, they had Reggie come out again to do a demo for the audience. Before stepping onto it, Reggie awkwardly states that his body is ready.
My body is ready.
Reggie, the mean machine.
But it wasn't until the internet got a hold of it that the moment took on legendary status. Thanks to countless memes, the phrase has become the go-to phrase for gamers and anyone else who's heavily anticipating something. Reggie even embraced it as a catchphrase, repeating it in several subsequent E3s.
Yes, my body was ready.
My puppet body is ready.
Number 3. Final Fantasy VII Remake
Yeah,
announcement.
this is what really broke the internet.
Tonight, I am proud to announce that by popular demand, we have a very special treat for everyone.
E3 2015 had some epic reveal trailers all around, with The Last
They
Guardian.
had The Last Guardian, which was pretty interesting. I know Shenmue was pretty awesome news, but again, Final Fantasy VII Remake, this was the game that really, this is a trailer that really broke the internet in 2015.
Final Fantasy VII is one of the most beloved RPGs of all time. For years, fans wanted a full HD remake with graphics that would do the story justice. But it was often treated as something we all wanted, but knew would never happen. And then, Sony's E3 2015 presentation dropped a bombshell of a trailer with gorgeous graphics and the magic word, remake. The level of hype at this announcement eclipses that of any other game reveal. Only something like Half-Life 3 and Breath of the Wild 2 could possibly eclipse it.
We're proud to announce that Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming first to PlayStation 4.
I think it only been on the PlayStation 4 as well.
Number 2.
Hello, Star-Lord, how's it going?
Price. E3 1995.
Oh, yeah. The PlayStation 1 price, that's what kickstarted it. That's what kickstarted the E3 hype.
And the first E3 saw one of its most legendary shots fired. Sega,
Because really, the only two major platforms at that time, it was Sega Saturn and it was Sony PlayStation. Like the Nintendo, they didn't want to disappoint. But yes, the Sega Saturn, I mean the PlayStation really killed Sega.
This one's price being $100 cheaper was essentially a death knell for it, and the beginning of the end for Sega in general. It wouldn't be the last time Sony would body slam their opponents either.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. We're gonna watch it in a moment.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the
I know what the hell you're talking about.
or all of them. If you're on your phone,
As a matter of fact, I can't put it here because of fucking Toei. Shit. I have to watch it later.
The mic on Microsoft. E3 2013.
They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, keep it forever.
Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Hold on a moment. Okay. So, a little word of context. This was what, 2013? Ah, shit. So, 2013, there was yeah, my mic always gets cut off. I got to get a new microphone. All right, I got to get a new microphone. So, what was it that I discussed about? Did I discuss about the fact that the CD, that Microsoft says that the game is locked onto your console? I said that, right? Tell me, did I say that? Because I believe I'd said that that it's okay. So let me just go back. First off, when you purchase a game for your Xbox, it's registered on your console. Okay, so it's registered on your console, right? You can't do anything about it. You can't even if your friend wants to be able to borrow the game, they can't play it because that said game is locked on to that person's console. Second, you have to be online at all times. So if you were to take your Xbox X console, if you were to take it with you to play on the road or to take it to someone's home and they don't have internet connection whatsoever, you're screwed. You can't play your Xbox. Second, or actually that's second. Third, and this is the fucked up thing. The Nintendo, not the Nintendo Connect. Fuck the Nintendo Connect. The Microsoft Xbox Connect, that weird device that was supposed to be, yes, Xbox Series X. This was before the PlayStation. This was before Sony. All right. When the Microsoft Connect, the Xbox Connect, it's a must add-on. You need the Xbox Connect at all times. Which, by the way, in hindsight, all right, Triforce Del Jeezy, thank you so much. Yes, Xbox One. Thank you. How's it going, dude? Thank you so much for the raid. We're going through a series of E3 since we're celebrating E3. Okay. Shit. Let me give you a shout out, but I'm having. Okay, there we go. We're actually celebrating E3 since we're celebrating the 30-year quote-unquote anniversary of. Okay, there we go. Of E3. Lastly, playing Pokemon trading card game live. How? What kind of rare cards did you get? So here's the deal. The Xbox Connect, you need the Xbox Connect, which in hindsight was a useless add-on because several months later, Microsoft would drop the Connect. So you've already wasted so much money on one, the console, which is already too much of high pricing. All right. Probably $100 than what Microsoft, actually what Sony PlayStation 4 was going to offer. Two, your games are locked on your Xbox. All right. Your Xbox. Three, you need to have the Kinect with you. All right. That's a must add-on if you want the Xbox. And four, you need to be online at all times. Like so many stupid shit that Microsoft did that really killed their E3. This is just Sony trolling Microsoft by saying all the opposite things. How was PAX East, by the way? Let's take a look at how Sony pretty much killed Microsoft at E3 2013. Which, by the way, I'm just gonna say this. I think this was Sony just listening to what Microsoft did, and like either hours or like a day later, it's like, you know what? We're gonna do totally opposite on that one, even though we do not have that all set, but we're gonna have it prepared for this holiday season. First time going and won tickets. That's actually fucking fantastic. Oh, by the way, here's one of the ordeals. Remember when I said that when you own an Xbox game, an Xbox X or Xbox One X, that the game's yours? All right, you cannot. You can't trade it, you can't lend it, you can't do anything like that. What's the first thing? Oh my god. Oh, I'm using the Yeti. I gotta get new equipment. Don't worry about it, Star-Lord. Thank you so much. But what's the first thing that PlayStation did? You could trade your games in the retail, you could sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. Boom, right there. I think they had a presentation on that one. Hold on. Let's go through with this. Won't require you to check in online. That's another thing. That's another thing.
Didn't really have to do much work either. Microsoft did everything for them.
Oh shit.
A slew of features hated by gamers, like restrictions on used games.
Used games always online. Hold on. 24-hour offline limit confirmation. Games can be transferred to other players once. Once. What are you talking about? It's like I give you your game and that's it. All right. You want it again? Fuck you. You're only gonna get it once. Oh my god. Internet requirements, used game policies, transfers to friends. Oh shit. This was bad.
And costing $100 more than Sony's console.
All right, and play it. Okay, sharing the game. How do you share the game?
Sony could focus on
Here.
what really matters to gamers. Games that look good and are even better to play.
I'm very proud to introduce the world gameplay premiere.
I think that's one of the presentations we got to go to. We got to go to that one as well.
Literally dropped or threw the mic.
I'm out. Drop the mic. There you go. Trenton dropping the mic. Thank you, Jack Trent.
He dropped the mic.
Awesome gaming content?
Oh shit. Oh. What was it? 2013? Shit. What was it? PS4. This is 21 seconds. This is 21 seconds on what you could do with a used game. All right? This is what Sony, Microsoft did not want you to do.
This is how you share your games on PS4.
It's so fucking easy. All right? You share the game. What do you do?
Thanks.
I recall when that happened in 2013 that it killed my mood for gaming. Like really the 2013 and 2013 to 2016 was the time I was not into the PS4 or the Xbox X series. They could have used that music when the PS5 started. I have no idea how the PS5 started, but I think I would agree with you on that one. But 2013 to 2016 was around the time I was not thrilled for gaming. All right. It's also pretty weird because Mortal Kombat X was announced for the PS4 and the Xbox One. I was a huge Mortal Kombat fan at that time. And yet, it didn't really give me the feeling to purchase either of the consoles. And by the way, I had an Xbox 360 prior to deciding whether I want to go with a PS4 or the Xbox X. I'm not. Here's the deal. I don't own a PS5 yet. I don't own an Xbox Series X yet. All right, and I definitely want the Nintendo Switch too, but I'm with the way things are going right now, I don't think that's gonna be happening anytime soon. All right. But this was, like I said, I focused at what's going on right now at this time. And, well, at that time, actually, I didn't really have the money for it. That was one. And two, the games really didn't get me, like, hyped up. It wasn't until, like, Street Fighter V was announced. But then Street Fighter V performed poorly. And I didn't even want it at that time. It wasn't until they announced, okay, we're gonna have a story mode with the PS5, with Street Fighter 5, that I got it. I got Doom, which I actually had a great time with it. I got Marvel Spider-Man, which I really got interested. As a matter of fact, that was the one of the first, and actually one of the first PS4 games that I fully streamed from start to end off of the PS4. Tekken 8 I did get as what? No, not Tekken 8. Tekken 7 I did get, and Soul Calibur 6 I also got. But Overwatch was also another game that really got me back involved. So if I'm gonna be paying full price for the PS5 in the US, most likely, but the prices in for the PS5 it's gonna raise, and it's actually worse for retro games, because most of the stuff are imported. All right, but by God, that was E3 in a nutshell. For the games, yeah, still gonna be paying full price for the games. Does anybody have an E3 trailer or presentation that y'all have in mind? Um. Okay, I can't play this one, to be honest. I think I could play this instead. I can't play. I can't play any music.
Where was the skill? Where was the strategy? I mean, shoot, drive, nothing.
Those games had both skill and strategy.
You're racing in a city, going 100 miles per hour, blasting everything as you go. Speed,
Yeah, this was the announcement for Twisted Metal for the PS3.
Maybe back in your day, sweetheart, but look, you name me one car combat game that was as good on PlayStation 1, kicked ass on PlayStation 2, and kicked even more ass on PS3. The ultimate ass kicking. Name it. That's right. You can't do it because it doesn't exist. Now get back to work, punk.
I'm the punk.
Don't kick my cab.
Punk.
Sadly, we will never get Yellow Jacket. Meow 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 meow. The moment you see the polka dotted pants and the clown face. Bad fucking ass. Alright, I'm gonna have to stop it here because they will be playing Airborne. Raise the Flag. Alright, as a matter of fact, I could be able to put up here. There we go. We're just gonna have to cut it. But when Twisted Metal was announced, I was so fucking hyped for this. Like, Sweet Tooth riding on a motorcycle. You have goddamn meat wagons shooting out gurneys of, well, apparently suicide bombers. Tracking missiles and all that. Like, I went crazy when I saw this trailer. And you know, I've actually felt bad because this was only for the PlayStation 3. I did not own a PlayStation 3 back then. I only owned Xbox 360, and there was no way in hell I'm going to be able to get a PS3. Not at my salary, or the way I'm running my life at that time. Holy crap. You also have multiple people using a helicopter, freaking riding on motorcycles, Like, this is insane back then. I don't know if you could be able to do this to in today's modding whatsoever. Dollface was in it, which is actually pretty huge as well. So yeah, that was actually a pretty big deal because if I recall, Twisted Metal, this was, when was this one? 2012, if I'm correct. Twisted Metal was 2012. Yeah. So Twisted Metal has not been around at that time for nearly 11 to 12 years. For Twisted Metal to have a return on the PS3, that was huge. And such. It was actually huge for an announcement like that. Okay. We're also trying to find, like, quite possibly the best announcement trailers for E3. If you got one that you want to be able to express, let me know. Because I cannot, I'll be honest. Aside from Final Fantasy, I think we got to go with Smash as well. Oh, Death Stranded. Death Stranding was another announcement. This was a reveal trailer that Kojima had. Created and developed by Kojima Productions, which, by the way, what the fuck fucking Konami? How the hell did you fuck that up? I think it's one of those games where it's like, what the fuck is this all about? Why is a naked man picking up a stillborn baby in the middle of nowhere? It's like the dude from The Walking Dead. What game is this from? This was the announcement trailer for Death Stranding. Like, this is a game where it's like, what the fuck is Kojima talking making? Are we talking about Silent Hill? Yeah, I don't know, but I'm having a feeling that Konami killed it. Oh, fuck. Well, I'm gonna get DMC, DMA, so to say. Oh, we're talking about the recent one. A Hideo Kojima game. Norman Reedus in OD. I have a feeling it was not Death Stranding. I have a feeling it was Silent Hill that he was working on. But if it's a recent one, then we're probably gonna get news about it next month, so to say. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be. Oh, okay. So it's announced in 2023. We're probably gonna get an announcement about this one in maybe next month. If not next month, because usually the Summer of Games trailers drop on June here in the US. If not next month, then most likely what's going to happen is going to be just like the Game Awards. It should be able to give us another announcement trailer, so to say. Smash E3. Okay. We have to go through this one. We have to go through a classic. I have to admit, I went crazy for this one. That one I'm going to have to take a look into it in the future, Star-Lord. Because I definitely want to focus more on E3 than anything else, so to say. Have I played BioShock's game? Of course I played. I played BioShock 1. I played BioShock 2. I did not play BioShock Infinite, but I will. Believe me on that. We did take a look at BioShock Infinite, BioShock 3. No, not BioShock 3. BioShock 1 trailer. Fantastic. Loved it. Wait, Samus is a woman? So it's the people who hadn't yet understand what the fuck Samus was. But the announcement of the announcement of what's its name? Sir Meta Knight, Zero Suit Samus, Wario. I think this is where I went crazy.
Snake, 忙しいところすまないが、ビッグニュースだ。なんだ、また無茶を言うんじゃないだろうな。
Retrospective, I heard.
君は大乱闘スマッシュブラザーズを知っているかね。ああ、任天堂の。実は君に出場の招待状が届いているのだ。
The fact that Snake from fucking Metal Gear Solid got the invitation.
偵察の夢中だ。偵察？一体何を？敵を知ることこそ勝利の近道だ。
God damn it! Get ready! Fucking yeah! Yeah! Ah, yes! Ah, shit! I still get hyped over that! I still get hyped over that! Oh, shit! Like, literally, I still got hyped over that! Holy shit! Oh! I still get fucking hyped over that! So we're talking about... Wait, there's a Far Cry trailer? Alright, hold on. Let's... I'll check it out. E3. Oh my god. I say I hit up Far Cry trailer, and the first thing that popped up. Do you know what the definition of insanity is? All right, hold on. Oh hell no, we're not gonna have Mr. Caffeine take us to that. No, fuck that. Fuck that shit. We're not having Mr. Caffeine. I mean, we're gonna go through the cringe of E3. All right, we're gonna have that moment, but let's do the E3 trailer without Mr. Caffeine. Thank you.
Look at this place. Unbelievable. Paradise. Hey, Nikki, where are we again?
Island's not on the map. Let's hit it. Do some exploring.
And there's our boat. Yeah! Guys! I'm on a boat!
this guy.
Hey, Doug. Check this out. Are those real? You getting this? You recording? Oh, yeah. My man Jason brings the heat. Hey, put your down. Go now. Go. Okay, we got it. We're leaving. Let's go, man. What a dick.
Okay, this is the last one.
Oh man, why do I have a feeling this is like the Blair Witch Project?
Hey, Doug. That's what I'm talking about.
How fucked up this trailer would be.
It's fucking easy, man. Just fucking pull the fucking trigger.
What do you want from me, man?
Let's go, man. Shoot me. No, come on, shoot me, motherfucker. Let's go. Shoot me, motherfucker. Come on. Oh, fuck. I've never seen a bigger bunch of pussies in my life. Hey, listen, hermano. The bitch is worth a lot of money, but you
Damn, this dude. I definitely gotta play a Far Cry game. Never played it, I'll be honest. Pretty good cinema, by the way. That's Far Cry 4, right? Alright, Far Cry 5? Yeah, let's take a look into it. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I gotta be careful with what I select because YouTube algorithm, so to say. I think I could go with this one, but I gotta know if there's any you know, songs or anything like that. Also, I thought Far Cry 5 took place in the South, and this is Far Cry 4. At some point. Definitely I want to go through all the Far Cry series. At some point.
Water tower, got it.
Oh yeah, this is fucked up.
I'm in position. Boom, boom, motherfuckers. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, bang, bang.
Even if they're not connected, they're their own games. Still want to go through each and every one of them and check out its progress as well. Because it would be a weird feeling to go into Far Cry 5, and then if I were to play, let's say, Far Cry 2, and it feels like not a progress, more like recession. Let me just remove this the songs, so to say. But I think I recall wanting to play a Far Cry game online co-op as well. I recall wanted to do that, but never got the opportunity to do so. And I think it was with the recent Far Cry game, because that one you have a pet rooster and a pet gator instead of a pet dog. Okay, so it was Far Cry. Okay, I see it right here. There's Far Cry 6. That was the recent one. So I got it all mixed up. All right, I apologize on that one. I apologize. Yeah. Definitely what I would say the one game that I was hyped for in 2000 and well, this one's 2003. Was this Halo 2? Yeah.
Who was first contact?
405th out of Diego Garcia. But don't expect a big welcome. Covenant wiped most of them out before they hit the ground.
And I think it was 2 years after the first Halo game.
Kilo 23 is hot. Recommend mission abort. Roger, recon.
Like, if I'm correct, Halo 2 did not get a trailer. Instead, what they got is a demo. They didn't have anything. They only had a demo. And the crazy thing is, they didn't have a game at that time. So, essentially, this was pretty much an alpha to what they were creating. What's crazy about this entire level that you're gonna see, it was not included in the game. I'm pretty sure this was not included in the game.
Of course, Sergeant.
Sir, Corporal Perez, A Company, CP's this way. Must be seeing things. Come on, come on, come on. No tags.
Hang two units, O'Neill.
I'm calling it. It's 1900. The lieutenant got hit as soon as we dropped in.
Who's in charge now, Corporal?
Sergeant Banks, ma'am. He's pinned down up front. Come on, I'll show you.
I wonder if we're gonna get the Halo theme.
No, behind that ST. Yeah. 3 more, coming left. I'm running low, man. Oye, Parsons. Yeah? Is it clear?
Oh yeah.
Tell me. Friendly's moving out, covering fire.
I have to double check on that one. Damn it, Ubisoft. Okay, yeah, definitely, if I recall, the rifle was different. It wasn't like that. It was like a 3-shot. I don't think it was Halo 3. I'm not certain if it was Halo 3 or Halo 4. We would have a single shot rifle.
Tech HQ, this is Sergeant Banks. I've got hostile artillery 200 meters northeast of my position.
Yeah, turret, like it was, like we used to went crazy for back then. OP turret. Unless you had a sniper rifle, you're good with the pistol, or you had a rocket launcher, forget it. Someone had a turret, you're fucked. Alright, that's when I went crazy. Holy shit, I can dual wield SMGs? Fuck yeah! Going Rambo on their asses. Yep. Dual wield and all that. Okay, this is the newest weapon as well, the gas cannon. So at this time, they would have introduced a lot of new gameplay mechanics, a new weapon. Dual wielding was new. The rifle was new. This was new. The gas cannon was also new. I think they will also introduce a new enemy as well, but if I recall, some of the enemies from... Oh yeah, this is actually a new vehicle, now I recall. The enemy has a new vehicle, so that was actually pretty exciting. Yeah, I think Halo 1, they're pretty much covering the same enemies from Halo 1 into Halo 2. Because I don't think Halo 2 had new enemies. Not that I recall. I think Halo is one of those series I gotta go back into. From Halo 1 to Halo 3. Definitely is possible today with the Definitive Edition. But to be able to play it on the Xbox as well would be very amazing. It would feel very satisfying. Okay, yeah, so that's the newest enemy. Those monkeys. They're the newest enemies in this game.
Ghosts, to your right. Wait for it. Nice.
Yep. And this will probably be the newest mechanic as well. That you could now hijack vehicles. Because I don't think you could do that in Halo 1. So they were really really done a lot of great display on what Halo 2 would be. But again, this one level in Halo 2. We will never see the day or night at all. If anything, you could call this the hidden level of Halo 2.
Chief. Hang on.
Bingo. There's the cruiser. Now, all we need to do is...
It was a test gameplay. It was test gameplay. Because I believe we did get a street level, but it wasn't anything like this. Not that I recall. Especially when you have the sword. Especially when you have the sword as I'm gonna have to turn off autoplay. Especially when you have the sword as the ending and you have like what, 5 different aliens with the sword. Yeah, I believe I could see Fear E3. I could definitely go with that one real quick. We could definitely take a look at it. Actually, this is actually a good idea. The beta gameplay of Fear. Because I do... There was another game that I would actually like to be able to put up that was hyped for a very long time and sadly never came to fruition for one reason or another. And if you want my best opinion on who would be able to talk about this particular game, I would say look up Matt McMuscles and his talk about Duke Nukem. Yeah. What's funny is that the only the only E3 that I've actually looked from point A to point B was the presentation for the PS3. And in my opinion, the PS3 presentation from Sony, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad because if you take a look at the hindsight of the games that PlayStation 3 had in their trailers, which is Heavenly Knight, I believe Uncharted, it was a pretty solid E3 presentation. The problem was that most people remember the PS3 presentation for their high pricing, the killer crabs, and the fact that PlayStation 3, the presenters on Sony said that there's no gimmicks whatsoever, but they eventually talked about several gimmicks in the game, which included an AR game, which included a rubber duck. Well, great, you know. You talked about mystical monsters and all that, and all of a sudden you have somebody, you have the presenter put in a rubber duck as a monster. Good job. And the 8-way controller, if I'm correct, for their PS3, which also has it with the PlayStation 4, because I did play Marvel's Ultimate Alliance, and they would have that as a gimmick whenever you need to do like disarm bombs or try to like do some quick time events, and it was really stupid. I'll be honest, this does not look bad. Like, I know Fear was a good game. No, if I'm correct, it tried to do the element of horror shooter, but I think it was only because of one character in there that really presented the horror factor. Oh yeah, I think this is her. Yep. It's the little girl. Okay, that's stupid. That was stupid. He's doing the Liu Kang kick. Alma. Okay. They are displaying good ragdoll physics, by the way. I will admit that. They're displaying ragdoll physics. That's what this game is all about, ragdoll physics. So, where is Alma? The funny thing about this is that this game is not really reminding me of a horror game. It's just reminding me of anime. Like a grueling early 90s anime. What time is it, by the way? I'm looking at about 12:40, so I think I'm gonna most likely head off pretty soon. Because I gotta get ready for bed and also take my family to their doctor's appointment. So I do have time for like one or two more trailers.
What's up? You must be the new guy. I hear you're a bad motherfucker. I hope it's true. What do you think, Holiday? I think some nasty shit happened here. That's great. Got anything useful to add?
I don't work tomorrow, but I take my family to their doctor's appointment. That's what I do. All right. Um, we did see Smash Bro. I think Xbox had something on that one. Am I happy with the Overwatch collaboration? I'm fine with it. I'm actually quite excited for it. Really, I have to say it was a missed opportunity with May, in my opinion. But you know what? I'm just gonna leave it as it is. And we're just gonna go with it for now. Hopefully this one we'll be able to get more skins down the line, more collaboration down the line. I think we got one more. So that is PS4.
Peggy 18.
I think this is gonna be the last one. Hopefully we don't have any.
To reimagine the open world game in a number of ways.
Yep.
The game world is beautiful, massive, and diverse. A sprawling satirical reimagining of modern Southern California.
Wait, what the fuck?
A sprawling satirical.
The fuck is that advertisement?
Reimagining
It's Grand Theft
modern
Auto.
Southern
What am I
California,
questioning about?
covering mountains and oceans, expensive
Not a
stores
problem,
and strip malls,
Triforce. Thank you so much.
urban decay and untouched wilderness, beaches and backwoods, the sublime and the ridiculous, greed and hypocrisy.
You tell me exactly what you want, and I will very carefully explain to you why it cannot be. What?
So what we doing here?
We're working, amigo.
For the first time, the game features not one, but three would-be heroes.
So now what?
Michael, a once successful bank robber,
Which is
and now a
first,
less
in my
successful
opinion.
family man.
You know, you're a real asshole. What did you just say to me?
Stop it! You're ruining my yoga!
Franklin, a hungry street hustler convinced he's surrounded by morons.
That motherfucker Trevor is not a hero. Yes, he is a hero to my words.
And then there's Trevor. The less said about him, the better. Introducing three lead characters transforms both the narrative into one interwoven story and the structure of individual missions. Players can cut between vantage points.
Yeah, I can use a little backup here.
And from one high-octane moment to another.
Gotcha. He's got support!
Ah.
Get us out of here! Roger that.
This helps to give missions new levels of diversity and intensity.
Actually, I was pretty hyped for Grand Theft Auto 5.
When not on a mission, the use of three lead characters also allow for a touch of voyeurism. As you can drop in at any moment and find out what your new friends have been up to as they go about their days.
Jeez, Pop. Too much more of that and maybe I won't be dead by 35.
That motherfucker Trevor.
The world is not only huge, it's packed with a vast array of things to see and do. Cars to customize. Planes to fly.
I think when Grand Theft Auto went online,
Nirvanas to pursue.
that's when things started to be like, okay, you're focusing so much with online shit.
Freaks to watch, meet, and befriend.
Still something that I wasn't too intrigued about.
And you? Somewhere stuck between joyful and peachy.
Although I will admit that the Grand Theft Auto 5 role-playing online,
Mechanics in the game.
you know, there actually has been a great community for that one. That's actually quite interesting to go through. There's such strict rules to abide by.
To tennis and bike riding. Feels fun and responsive. However, alongside all of this leisure, people also have to take care of business. For all their pretensions, these men are dangerous thieves.
It's an industrial area, right? So I'm thinking vehicles. Trash truck to block, tow truck to sack.
To survive, they have to set up and pull off a series of increasingly audacious heists.
Gentlemen, some plans for your attention?
The player sets these up themselves, then decides how they execute them and with whom.
There's two ways I see of doing this. We go in smart, let's go. Or we go in loud and dumb. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your moment. Please don't make me ruin all the great work your plastic surgeons have been doing.
After the take is divided, you decide what to spend your money on. Anything from sensible investments like tattoos and fast cars, to risky ventures like stocks and Los Santos real estate. And then there's Grand Theft Auto Online, which we will show you properly soon.
Wow, around the time of my birthday, that's how I spent my life at that time. playing nothing but Grand Theft Auto 5. Alright. So, really, when E3, I think by 2018, 2019, when PlayStation opted to not be a part of E3, that really hurt E3 the moment they lost Sony, because they say the change of the gaming landscape. This is just an AI overview, but there's a couple of YouTubers that you should be able to check out their opinion. I've already written down my script for E3, and of course I gotta add in my my conclusion on this one. But financially, that was definitely one of the biggest issues, because it did not really cost. This was like the kicker, so to say. Well, Xbox, the deal is that when PlayStation left, Xbox, Nintendo, and a couple of indie devs, I think even the PC, really needed to step up, so to say. But even Nintendo was on their way out of E3. All right. Nintendo, it says it right here that Nintendo adopted the Nintendo Direct, which happened in 2019 as well. And by the time the pandemic hit, yeah, definitely that's when things started to fall apart for E3. So it is possible for E3 to make a return, but it won't be as big as it was back then. I think it would have been something similar to like PAX, Gamescom. You know, pretty much something which they're gonna have a hotel. You know, be able to present several games and such. Something like a small convention rather than something major. Because there's with the changes that has happened, especially around the 2010s and prior to the pandemic, yeah, E3 pretty much struggled. They first had a media scrum, which is nothing but business and media, which was pretty dumb. And by 2016, they actually allowed guests to attend, which they really did not uh thought this through properly. You know, because it's one thing to have uh retailers, media, and business to attend on E3, but it's another thing to have fans attend E3, because fans could be pretty unruly at times, and there has been at least report on uh certain fans not really behaving well, so to say. But ultimately, E3, thankfully, we didn't really showcase like the cringe moment of E3. Obviously, I definitely want to end up on this one.
Sony Computer Entertainment President of America, Steve Reyes, join me for
The biggest mic drop
a
of all.
brief presentation.
Let me hit this up so y'all can be able to hear it.
$299.
And for context, just to let you know, Sega actually had their presentation at that time, and PlayStation 1. This was the first one. This was the first E3 in 1995. Sony did present their PlayStation 1 presentation. Before Sony, it was Sega. Sega discussed about their Sega Saturn and how their pricing is $399. Sony dropped the bomb, dropped it to $299. I definitely want to end it on a pretty high note, so to say. The biggest one of all. Alright. Okay, so apologies for earlier today. Seems as though I'm having some sort of technical difficulties with my PC. I'm gonna have to get that cleaned up and such. Oh, it's because of inflating price. Certain it's a certain terminology to go with that Star Lord. I'm not really good with terminologies and such, but now it's $800. All right, but at that time it was a huge announcement. $299. Yeah, my father got that for me for Christmas about a year or two later. So that was actually one of the best gifts I've gotten for from a family member. But anyway, again, apologies from earlier today. I don't know what happened. I got to get that maybe cleaned up or fixed. But I also got something somewhere in my devices somewhere in here that is going to be a multi-tap, so to say. So we're just going to be able to utilize one of the two 3.0s USB connection. That way we can be able to have no issue down the line. All right. But if you do enjoy the content here on Twitch, please give it a follow. Subscriptions and donation tips actually do help out with the channel. We're ending it with the Sony dude right now. Here, redo the gaming room, bro. Modern looks, yeah. No, my mic did not go out. Not this time. But earlier today, we did hit a technical snack. All right, but I got something I could be able to fix up. Anyway. Here on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and comment on your E3 moments. All right. Okay, so let me find who we're gonna be rating for today. Actually, I think I got someone right away. It's called Dreamy P. Currently playing Ape Escape. We will be back on later this week for... Oof, I apologize. We're going to be going back later this week for Pocket Fighters and also some game designing. And on top of that, I do have some important dates to follow up this week and also next week as well. Happy Mother's Day to everybody here on this channel. Again, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias at Xenogames TV. We're gonna be heading off to Dreamy P here on Twitch. So until then, folks, we'll be catching you later on this week. I'm gonna give you the date. Oh my goodness me. Oh, hold on. There we go. Somebody actually posted up freaking Santa Claus. Anyway, we're gonna be back this Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. We're gonna be playing Pocket Fighters and Friday as well. Until then, this is Zeno signing out, letting y'all know to be awesome, stay awesome, take care, and have a wonderful week. Happy Mother's Day to y'all. Take care.